On this exciting day, I am rebranding from a competitive triple Triad player to a Let's Play Final Fantasy VII player. So we're going to start it up, and I'm really excited to talk about this one, because I think as you get older, games and stories in general lose some of their power, right? Some of it is, having bills and other things take over your life, right? You know, expense and commitment and other kinds of things. But some of it is just you've become so much more familiarized with stories, right? That each one is a smaller and smaller percentage of your life, a smaller percentage of things you can connect it to. The story can become so easily in your head about something else instead of about the specific thing. It's much harder as time goes on to lose yourself in it. Apologize if the video here is a little choppy. I'm not sure it's going to record great, something like this. I haven't tried doing this before. So there's this way it becomes harder and harder to lose yourself in these kinds of stories, in these kinds of worlds and universes, and lose yourself in these characters. And I think it's easy to lose that over time. And it's really nice when there are pieces of it we can hold on to, or ways we can still return to that experience of completely losing yourself. I remember when I was 9 years old playing FF8, and I would just float around, not really important spoilers, but float around on Balam Garden for just ages, just like enjoying myself, trying to do jumps off things onto other things. I'd never make the jumps. It's not a game where there's like platforming with your ship. But I loved that, and I just spent my first FF8 save. I just had hundreds of hours on. I'd come home and I'd want to do that for a bit, and it wasn't all day every day, but it was a lot. And I never made it past a fight on disc 3. But beating the game wasn't even the point, right? I was in this world and I was really enjoying being there. And FF7 is a game where I can still kind of reach that mindset, and there are a few other games that can do so. But sorry, did I say FF8? I meant FF7. FF8 does not do that so well for me now, but FF7 still can, and so I really love that about it and want to share kind of all of the things I like about it. So we're gonna play a bit of FF7 and explore this. So we can look at the fallen guards for potions. Way to gain some items, and we're now going to see our first version of the battle system. Now this is an active time battle system, so we have a bar on the bottom right that fills up. I will explain this as if like you're unfamiliar, but I assume anyone watching this is quite familiar, but without explaining it, can't really talk about the parts I think it does well. So fairly quick filling up of the bar relative to some games in the series. And we, at this point, just attack. We also have access to magic, and we're going to have other tools we're going to use. We have an HP total, and then MP lets us use spells. Actually, let's take a moment to go to a menu and go to the config, because I think one thing cool about this is you can change the window menu, right? We can do different stuff with it, and I just Googled random color configuration. We're just going to try one out. And one thing I really like about this is it means you can look at one of your saves in the save menu, because it'll show with this kind of format. It'll show in the colors you pick here and recognize the differences between your saves, which is something I often am slightly annoyed that you can't do in many games. Because many games, it's just, every save file basically looks the same. And remembering which one's which, if you had different things you wanted to return to, is not trivial. And being able to color code them sometimes with nice designs, hopefully this one looks nice, I don't know what it'll look like, I didn't check, is a really nice way, in my opinion, to differentiate them. It's a very minor thing, but it's something where if I'm doing a save, I like to open it up and mess around with colors. Alright, so this is going to be our look for the save. Sure, that looks nice to me. And yeah, is there anything else to look at? So we have some magic, and we have that magic because if we look at our equips, each weapon comes with slots. This, you can see 2 slots, this one with 0, and we can equip materia, which we can't look at yet, but that his materia gives him ice and bolt. So we have access to 2 spells, not very important, and let's grab another potion and move on with our day. So we've jumped off a train with some other people. What are we doing? We don't know. Let's learn. Let's talk to people. Biggs, wow, you used to be in Soldier all right. Not every day you find one in a group like Avalanche. Soldier? Aren't they the enemy? What's he doing with us in Avalanche? Hold it, Jesse. He was in Soldier. He quit them and is now one of us. Didn't catch your name. So here we get, as is standard, to choose names. This is a way, of course, to differentiate your saves, but I like the default names. The characters are the default names to me. I've never been someone where I wanted to insert myself in a game. I want the best story they can construct around a character, which has led a lot of modern games to go in a direction I'm not very interested in, right? A lot of games have a kind of open world setting with characters where it's your choices that matter. But to make your choices matter more, they have to insert less and less actual character or story in the story. Having, for instance, customizable backstory. Pick your backstory. Are you a war veteran from here? Are you something from here? Ends up meaning that the character, if you want to imagine a lot onto it, you can. But I don't think they tell particularly good stories within those characters, and they can't have their past affect their present in interesting ways because they can't commit to telling that story because they had to give you choice on it. And I think that can really appeal to some people, but it's not a kind of storytelling I like, and I think it leads to much shallower stories unless you kind of add your own values in to a large amount. But usually games that do that have enough values put there to be off-putting to me that I am not able to do anything like that. So I think the modern direction of video game storytelling is very much not for me, and I like to stick with the names and treat them as the character they are rather than as a self-insert. I don't feel I'm doing these things. Games don't have that effect on me. They do for some people. That's cool. But for me, I want to stick with Cloud. Cloud, eh? I don't care what your names are. Once this job's over, I'm out of here. Cloud's such a jerk. Alright, we now meet... The hell you doing? I thought I told you never to move in a group. We're now meeting Barret, a new character. Our target's the North Mako reactor. We'll meet on the bridge in front of it. Ex-soldier, huh? Don't trust you. He shouldn't. We're a jerk. Now we get to name him. His name's Barret. Of course, I will be sticking with the traditional names. If you push the directional button while pushing the cancel button to run, earlier marked X. This is a goofy thing games have mostly tried to get out of, where the user interface, they try to show... this game does a really nice job of kind of cinematic camera work, even if the graphics are terrible. There will be many moments to kind of point that out, where they have different kinds of angles on the scenes you're seeing, and they're all predetermined backgrounds, but the angles on them quite change, right? This is a pre-drawn background we're just running over. It keeps giving me an encoding overloaded thing. It is possible my computer can't quite run recording this kind of stuff, but we're trying it out, and we'll keep talking. Enemies do very little damage here, and our attacks are quite powerful relative to their life. It is the start of the game. This is not difficult. So I'm just holding the button that will attack as quickly as possible because the game is active. If I wait before selecting, the enemy will have more time to attack me. So by just holding the command, it'll automatically select attack. What are we talking about? Cloud being a jerk. Pre-chosen names. Not liking modern direction of game stories. Old grumpy man here. Back in my day, Anyways, we're all going this way. We could talk to that person, but I'm not going to be particularly completionist about this. That I like the angles of shots. I think they're nicely chosen, and in general, kind of chosen in more dramatic angles to the action than they are in other games of the era, including the FFs to come after. I think there are some clearly nice design choices of when to go side on, when to go at this kind of standard, not quite bird's eye angle, and backgrounds that are interestingly drawn. I did not read the dialogue there, but Barret was basically telling us he's going to come with us, and yeah, I really should have read it, my bad. I'm trying to read all dialogue. Code deciphered. Good reminder to self. Now, if you're speedrunning here, you have to know talking to which person leads to actually opening the doors. also on the way back, but of course we are not. Code deciphered. I've never speedrun an RPG. We can also pop over here and grab a chest. Got a Phoenix down, incredibly valuable stuff. It is not incredibly valuable stuff, but there will be some stuff we want to go out of our way for later. Maybe not in the time I'll be playing today, but as we are rebranding as an FF7 channel, push that button over there. I can do that. Notice the wonderful hands. Really beautiful graphics here. This look will never cease to amaze. Also the way the arms look, where there's kind of two big blocks and then a connecting point. This game also spawned the taller the hair, the closer to God, if you look at Cloud's hair. Little by little, the reactors will drain out all the life, and that'll be that. So what we're doing here is Barret is leading a mission to take out these reactors that are environmentally incredibly destructive. It's not my problem, says Cloud, really leaning into his jerkness. Barret's angry. The planet's dying, Cloud. The only thing I care about is finishing this job before security and the robo-guards come. One point here is we are straight up environmental terrorists. This game is not leaning into what you might consider safe, easy politics here. There is a genuine threat to the world clearly created by corporate power swallowing everything for profits, as we'll see. This is not much of a spoiler. And we are terrorists. We are fighting against that. Though clearly Barret is fighting against that because he believes in the cause, and Cloud is fighting against it because he is being paid to. So if we want a moral high ground here, and if we are ranking the characters so far, and I love ranking things. So as I do things, I will just constantly rank who's appealing so far. I would suggest Cloud is not very appealing at this point in time. Unless you're really impressed by his backflips. You'll notice that enemy was further back from the others, and Cloud did less damage than usual. Cloud's doing about 40 a hit, Barret's doing high 30s, but Cloud only did 20. And that's because that enemy was farther back, they were in the back row, and attacks to back row characters on either side only do half damage. Now, if we go to our menu, we can look at Barret, and we can move him to the back row. And if we try that, because Barret has a gun, I believe his damage will not be particularly diminished, while Cloud's would be, because Cloud uses a melee weapon. Push the OK button. Yeah, I think it's hilarious that in games back then they'd just be like, press the circle button. And games now, they try to, have that be on a different screen because it sounds ridiculous if, the gruff character you're meeting goes, yo, push the circle button. Really takes you out of it. But games like Metal Gear Solid did it, and I think it's fine. It's just funny. But it feels anachronistic now, right? Because games try so hard not to do that, and user interface choices are made so carefully not to take the user out at points. Push the OK button. After that, press the directional button to move up and down. I can do this. I love his jump onto ladders. It's so unnecessary. And we are closing in on the end of this opening part. How long have I been recording? 14 minutes. Cool. Don't want to take too long here. So now we'll see 11 whole damage. You'll see they're really not doing much. Barret in the back row still does 37 damage. Now I should have had Cloud attack someone else because Barret wasn't going to quite kill them. You'll also see whenever we're attacked, the limit gauge fills up slightly. And when the limit gauge is full, you'll see Cloud did half damage attacking a back row enemy. So actually, I probably should have had Barret attack the back row, Cloud attack the front row, but okay, we're making bad decisions. You'll see Barret still does full damage. This means while Barret is lower power than Cloud, because he can be in the back row, he will take reduced damage from stuff. And so right now, and you'll notice once we've cleared their front row, we now do full damage to their back row, even with Cloud. So at this point in time, Barret has a tiny bit more health, does a little less damage, but takes about half damage from physical attacks as Cloud. So Barret seems the more valuable character. However, Cloud has some magic, and we're going to see shortly that that has a unique use that is going to be helpful. What was I talking about? I always lose my train of thought and then have trouble getting back to it. This is a save point. We can save, and we may as well, because you can see how beautifully this looks in the save menu. That if I hit other saves on this, which I do not, I don't think I do at least. Yeah, you can see it's colored this way, and all the others look colored this way, but if I had another save with a different look, it would look like that color scheme. And it's just... FF7 does lots of little things that I think are quite appealing. Alright, got another scene. Will Cloud be a jerk again? Or we're gonna have another scene in a moment. Alright, we found the restore materia, so soon we'll have access to healing spells, but currently we don't still, because we don't know how to use materia. When we blow this place, this ain't gonna be nothing more than a hunk of junk. Cloud, you set the bomb. So, okay, here's another thing, as we take another quick pause. RPGs of this era, in general, you'd have a cast of kind of 6 characters, and most of them, maybe not the lead characters, but most of them would have some distinctive way of speaking, using a lot of contractions, phrasing things certain ways, always having exclamation marks at the end. You know, there'd usually be some distinctive feature just to how they speak. There isn't going to be voice actors to differentiate them. There aren't going to be other things. So they're each going to have a way of speaking. Now, Barret's leans a little into caricatures of AAVE, and there's some issues there. I really like Barret, but let's admit there's probably some parts that aren't great. But I think something FF7 does that a lot of RPGs don't is it keeps the because characters in the cast throughout will have opinions on things, it keeps them relevant to stuff happening even when they're not as plot relevant. Now, it doesn't keep them super connected, but it keeps them a lot more so than other games. Because you have a lot of games where, okay, this is going to be the energetic, quirky sidekick. And for a while, they'll just have nothing to do with the plot, and all their lines will be, I'm the quirky, energetic sidekick. Because they weren't formed as a person, they weren't formed as having opinions and beliefs, they end up feeling to me a lot more divorced from what's going on, and the characters fall off in relevance to what's happening. And FF7, already, Barret obviously has strong opinions about what reality should be and what is wrong. And because he has that, he's going to be able to integrate throughout the game into the plots that are happening. Cloud, you set the bomb. Shouldn't you do it? Just do it. I gotta watch to make sure you don't pull nothing. Fine, be my guest. Watch out. Cloud hears a voice. This isn't just a reactor. What's wrong, Barret says. He did not hear the voice. Huh? What's wrong, Cloud? Hurry it up. Yeah, sorry. Something's going on with Cloud. What? We cannot say. Looks around. Heads up, here they come. And we have our first boss of the game. Now this boss is kind of funny, because it has a dialogue text box we're going to get to pretty shortly. But here, I'm not going to auto-attack because we're going to be using Bolt. It is a machine, and it is weak to electric damage, so we're going to use electric damage, which Cloud has access to and Barret does not. So now Cloud is getting a unique use, and it does 88 damage, which is significantly more than we've seen they're doing with their physicals. So we're going to use Bolt as much as we can, and now I can hold down the attack button to make sure Barret attacks quickly. Cloud also has a limit break, so we will launch that. These are the best attacks. They also have priority, so if I select it before anything else happens, it will go off, even if the AI, the enemy, has picked a move first. If it is, it will automatically jump to the top of the priority list. As you can see, it did really nice damage. It is also good to use limit breaks, because learning the next limit break comes from 2 things, depending on which one you're learning. It either comes from having the character kill enemies, or it comes from using your current limit break. Cloud's taking a lot of damage here. We may want to heal at some point. But let's launch another bolt. And I think we can probably get away without it, but let's throw a potion Cloud's way. Now, here's the funny dialogue. Tail goes up, and Cloud says, Barret, be careful. Attack while its tail's up! And lots of people will then attack, and it's going to counterattack with its laser. It's telling you not to attack because it's going to be punished, but because the dialogue box says, attack while its tail's up, ! A lot of people take that as a sign to attack, but we're just going to sit here. I will say we can defend, and we can also change our position. Change will move us from front row to back row. These aren't very useful, and I will probably never use them, but now that its tail's down, we can get back to attacking. If we were lower on health, that would have been a good time to use potions. I could have gotten in an extra attack with Barret that I didn't get in. It does a big laser sweep that hits both my characters for a reasonable amount of damage. I don't really remember, but I'd guess around 100 each, which is just much more powerful than anything else we've seen in the game to this point. And the first thing that actually threatens our characters a bit. But we beat the first boss. Go us. Get our classic victory dance. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I'm not playing with music because I really don't particularly like video game music, which I know is sacrilegious in some circles, but it's not for me. Synths are just not... Come on, let's get out of here. Not an instrument I like. 10 minutes to detonation, so we got to get out of here. Gotta rush. I am gonna equip Barret's new gun, which I really don't need to, but I don't want to forget later. It has more slots and more power. Now, because there's only 10 minutes to detonation, we do not want to be fighting things. So we want to be running and not fighting. Huh. What happened? I am playing on an emulator. I do own FF7 proper discs. This is not doing anything, but I didn't realize that the buttons I had set at L and R, for L and R and the button I set for confirm accidentally did a save. So I was trying to run while maybe telling them to attack, and apparently I can't do that here or we will have problems. Good to know. We will get out easily before the time limit, by the way. This is not... Especially when games give you time limits very early on in the game, the time limit is usually quite easy to make, but also we're not getting a ton of experience from these enemies. No need to stress ourselves. We'll make a beeline, and we will take the exact path we took on the way here. Now, what's up with Jesse? Jesse looks strange. Hard to tell, because again, the graphics aren't perfect, but let's see what's going on. You alright? I got stuck. Okay, thanks. We helped him. Good for us. First time Cloud's done something nice. And it wasn't in a scene, it was just us running over to do it. Cloud is a bit of a jerk. Alright, we will run away from this fight. What else is there to talk about early? Yeah, limit breaks are great. And we want to get kills on the characters we're going to use, because that can help unlock new limit breaks. Also, we want to use limit breaks. Now, when we get a limit break, it will take the spot of the attack button, and we will not be able to attack until we use the limit break. So it's not like it's hard to use limit breaks, right? They'll fill up on their own. One thing we can do to affect it is there are two status effects, Fury and Sadness. If our character is sad, they will take less damage. We're going to use the elevator, switch on. They will take less damage, but their limit break will fill up significantly slower. If they're in Fury, they will take more damage, and their limit break will fill up faster. Who to talk to? One of them opens the door. Let's try Jesse. I guessed right. Okay. Cool. Let's try not Jesse. Yeah, code deciphered. One of them opens each door, and if you talk to the other one first, you have to talk to both. Saved tiny amounts of time. Real speed running here. And we've made it out, so we had 7 minutes left. Everyone's running. We get fantastic early graphics here for like the dawn of 3D. Get some electricity. Big fire. Nice looking fire, actually. And you can see we blew up a reactor, and we can see Midgar, which we saw a little in the opening, but I didn't talk about, which has these 8 sectors to it. And we just blew up the reactor of one of them. A very large city, largest city in this game's world. And we just blew up a huge reactor. Big says that should keep the planet going, at least a little longer. Yeah. Biggs and Wedge are named after Star Wars. I don't know what in Star Wars, because I'm not a Star Wars person, but I know they're named after Star Wars. Okay, now everyone get back. Alright. We have done this act of terrorism. Now we have to flee. Again, really good fire effects for this point in time. And the backgrounds are quite nicely drawn. Like, the character models look pretty ridiculous, though I have a lot of affection and nostalgia for them. But the backgrounds are quite nicely drawn in general. And I think in an era when you don't have the ability to do nice-looking dynamic graphics, just kind of painting a background and putting things over them is a nice way to do it. Rendezvous at Sector 8 Station, split up and get on the train. But hey, it's about your money. Save it till we're back at the hideout. It is about Cloud's money. So when I was a kid, I spent forever trying to jump over this fence because one of them did, but we do not have a jump button. So we're going to follow this way. Loveless, June 25th. Loveless, the play, is a big part of some of the spin-offs. I don't like the spin-offs at all, so we'll just ignore that. Flower Girl, excuse me. What happened? Now, I think the game actually works a little better if you go nothing, hey listen, but honestly, if we were being a decent human being here and there's just an explosion and we know guards are coming, you'd tell someone to get out of here. So we're gonna tell her to get out of here. Really? I don't know what's going on, but all right. We did the right thing. We did the right thing. Chaos. But we gotta get out of here. Blue flashy things, you'll notice there was, yeah, it does the thing where the light goes over it. That's to let you know this is an interactable item. Games should do things like this. Have stuff that's interactable look interactive. Hey, you there. Shinra soldiers. Fight them or later. No need. Halt! Oh no, more guards. Ooh, we look trapped. They're a way out? That's as far as you go. I don't have time to be messing around with you guys. Enough babbling. Grab him. Not sure why they don't shoot, but... Classic jump onto a train. Good thing that the tunnel just ended rather than started, because there was not space there. This tunnel, a little taller. Easier to find room. Again, the graphics of this game are often mocked and the character models look silly, but the backgrounds are usually quite nice. Obviously this train is, boring, but, Mass Effect has the same look of dark grays and some browns, and no one really minds. Cloud never came. Cloud, wonder if he was killed. Well, then you wouldn't have to pay him, that might be for the best. No way. Cloud. What's that sound? Say, do you think Cloud's gonna fight to the end for Avalanche? He doesn't seem like the type who'd fight to the end for Avalanche, does he? The hell would I know? Do I look like a mind reader? If y'all weren't such screw-ups. Hey Barret, what about our money? Nothing. Sorry. You gotta do environmental terrorism for the love of the game, not for the money. I think that's the big lesson here. What's that? Hey, Cloud survived. Cloud. Looks like I'm a little late. Cloud doing the whole cool entrance thing. I think one thing, this is slight spoilers, but I think one thing is, like, a lot of games and media does a lot of work to be like, whoa, this dude's cool, and they give them all the cool scenes. And there's not much more to it than that. And I do think where it goes with Cloud is a really interesting place of where this comes from. And it's one of the reasons Cloud is one of my favorite characters, but he has absolutely been a jerk so far, and clearly just showing off. As Barret says, come waltzing in here, making a big scene. Nice way of putting it. Much better put than I did. Barret has good lines. People should like Barret more. It's no big deal. Just what I always do. Cloud, you're such a jerk. Shit. Having everyone worried like that, you don't give a damn about no one but yourself. You were worried about me. What? I'm taking it out of your money, hot stuff. Good. Don't pay Cloud. Wake up. We're moving out. Follow me. Hey, Cloud, you were great back there. We were pretty good at the battling thing. Obviously, intro of a game's easy. Cloud, we'll do even better next time. But clearly this is an organization that does not have a lot of fighting power, and adding someone who is trained, your face is pitch black. I'm so glad they didn't actually draw the black face here, or something that would look like it. But this organization clearly does not have the manpower to pull off much like this. Thanks for helping me back there at the reactor. You're welcome, Jesse. And this jump we can do. And we're on a train. Last train out of Sector 8 station. Last stop is Sector 7, train graveyard. Expected time of arrival is 12:23 a.m. Midgar Standard Time. Midgar is the name of the city. I don't think we've mentioned that yet. Most important city in the world, I think it is fair to say. This is our, I don't know. I was going to say like New York, but that's because I'm from the US, London, wherever you want to be, Dubai, whatever. This is why I hate the last train. Hoo boy, yeah. Us ruffians are here. Alright, let's talk to people, see what's up. Huh, this is my house, so make yourselves at home. See the headlines in the Shinra Times? The terrorists that bombed the #1 reactor are based somewhere in the slums. Blowing up a reactor. They sure put some thought into this one. They must have a real calculating leader. I wonder what they'll do next. We do have a real calculating leader, Mr. Barret. Stop acting like a damn kid. Sit down and shut up. Cool, cool, cool. Seems this train hasn't switched to security mode yet. I'm sure that will change by tomorrow. Yeah? Someday Avalanche is going to be famous. And me, too. And, oh, Cloud, don't you think I got a bright future ahead of me? What do you have in mind? Let's be nice. All my life, I felt like nothing but a sidekick. I have sad news for you, Wedge. But after joining Avalanche and trying to save the planet, I feel like I can do lots of things. Hey, Cloud, you want to look at this with me? It's a map of the Midgar rail system. Let's look at it together. I'll explain it to you. Sadly, you don't have the option not to look at this. There is a way to skip it that speedrunners know, but I do not. I like this kind of stuff. Bombs and monitors, you know, flashy stuff. But we'll learn a little about Midgar. Okay, it's about to start. So we can see this sort of architectural background of Midgar. This is a complete model of the city of Midgar. It's about 1/10,000th of the scale. The top plate is about 50 meters above ground. A main support structure holds the plate up in the center, and there are other support structures built in each section. Psst, whisper, whisper. The #1 reaction we blew up is in the northern section. Now, it is a little silly for that guy to have already, heard news about the #1 reactor from the Shinra Times, right? Because a newspaper, unlike, say, TV or something else, isn't going to be immediately responding to news like this, but okay, whatever. Then there's #2, #3, all the way up to the #8 reactor. The 8 reactors provide Midgar with electricity. Each town used to have a name, but no one in Midgar remembers them. This is very much the way that as things join together, often the individual identities are lost, and Midgar has become all-encompassing to what these towns were. Instead of names, we refer to them by numbered sectors. That's the kind of place this is. Phew, this is next. Look. This is the route this train is on. It's going to show us the yellow path. The route spirals around the main support structure. We should be coming around the center area right now. At each checkpoint, an ID sensor device is set up. It can check the identities and background on each and every passenger on the train by linking it up to the central data bank at Shinra headquarters. Anyone could tell that we look suspicious, so we're using fake IDs. Very much a world where corporate power has taken governmental dominance, and that governmental dominance of a company that wants to, protect its profits means intense surveillance of everything. Speak of the devil, that light means that we're in the ID security check area. When the lights go off, you never know what kind of creeps will come out. Anyway, we're almost back now. That's a relief. It's like we're through. Let's see what Barret's got to say. Look, you can see the surface now. This city don't have no day or night. When it's all lights and covered by a plate, then you really do lose a day-night difference. If that plate weren't there, we could see the sky. Obviously, losing the sky, very dystopian. A floating city. Pretty unsettling scenery. Huh? Never expect to hear that out of someone like you. You're just full of surprises. It is, isn't it? I think people often think of a floating city as like something kind of wonderful and to aspire to in a lot of video game kinds of worlds, but also like some stuff in like anime directions, often like the floating city is this kind of the ideal, most utopian place. Though sometimes it's like a flying warship kind of thing. But to see that and think of it as unsettling in the way it clouds everything else out, not to use use his name, but it's not what you'd expect from Cloud so far to have that thought. The upper world, a city on a plate, because of that fucking pizza that people underneath are suffering. And the city below is full of polluted air. On top of that, the reactor keeps draining up all the energy. Then why doesn't everyone move on to the plate? Now there's a line we'd expect from Cloud. The kind of like, oh, something's wrong? Well, why don't they just fix it? Good jerk line, right? That's kind of the classic jerk attitude to problems is, well, why don't you just not have this problem, right? Which is so easy to blame any victims on. I think nicely written line for Cloud to have. Dunno, probably because they ain't got no money. Very good reason. Or maybe because they love their land, no matter how polluted it gets. It's really hard to leave the place where everything you've ever been and had is, and all your friendships and connections. I know, no one lives in the slums because they want to. It's like this train. Can't run anywhere except where its rails take it. Now, this feels like a very cliched line. I think it's really nicely inserted here because we have built a city where there is a train that runs round it, and that train can only run on the lower level, right? That train is only below the plate. Everything above the plate, you don't get there via the train, right? You are trapped in this cycle where you can move around the slums, you can move around these lower sectors, but you can never go anywhere else. And I like when lines like this that kind of seems like sort of straightforward, cliched type of line, but actually really connect to the world they're in and really parallel to what he's talking about and the lives they're living in a nice way. Good line. Here we get train graphics. They put a lot of effort into doing CGIs of stuff like the trains. And the train itself I don't think is that important, but the train as part of how this huge city works, this sprawling city works, is pretty important. Everyone getting off the train. Hey, that's one of Biggs or Wedge, and that's the other. Forget which is which. Probably shouldn't admit that, but there's Jesse. Everyone does a lot of jumping in this game, which always looks so silly. Like, can't just walk downstairs, gotta do a big jump. Yo, get over here, all ya. Yeah, maybe let's not have this conversation right in front of the train guy. This mission was a success, but don't get lazy now. The hard part's still to come. Don't y'all be scared of that explosion. Because the next one's going to be bigger than that. Meet back at the hideout. Move out. Yeah, so, again, when there's a Shinra train guard right there, maybe don't yell with double exclamation marks, meet at the hideout. But, what are we going to do? So we're going to head over to the slums. I guess I could have shown where we were there, but it's not that important. You can see these are what the slums look like. A lot of kind of patched together houses and things built on top of each other, and I think has a nice visual look for what they're trying to show. Now I think we can do stuff here now. It's not where we're supposed to go, but hey, what the you? Anyone talking to me must be a novice. I used to be with Soldier. The name's Cloud. I got no business with you. Well, I never heard of you. Alright, that wasn't what we were here for. There's a tutorial up here that shows some items. Who the hell are you? No unauthorized access. Okay, we have to do the scenes before this. My bad. Since today's special, I'm gonna let you in on a juicy bit of news, but you gotta keep it to yourself. Do you know about what's been going on? I guess you must be sick of hearing it, but it's been so long since there was any real news here. You're worried where it's all heading, right? I guess I should have said ... I shouldn't have pretended to know, because then you don't get information. Let's hear his juicy bit of news. It's good that you can retry. Everything's in a buzz about that terrorist group Avalanche blowing up the Sector 1 Mako reactor. On the surface, they say they're an anti-Shinra group, but in reality, they say they're just out to kill as many people as they can. Yeah, ha ha. That's a good one, ain't it? Well, they're busting things up on top. The only ones making out good are us weapon stores. Now, if we can just get rid of this backstop, we'll be doing okay. It turns out, when you are a, renegade terrorist group, you also do not get to control the media representation of you, right? You have no power and influence. You are trying to upend the current scheme. Let's talk to Barret. Okay, go on ahead. Papa! Adenos. She runs away. Marlene, aren't you going to say anything to Cloud? Welcome home, Cloud. Looks like everything went well. Did you fight with Barret? Did we fight with Barret? Not really. You've grown up. When you were little, you used to get into fights at the drop of a hat. Ah, someone knows us from way back. And they are a named character. We have met Tifa, our third named major character. I'm so glad everyone's safe. Alright, we'll talk to her. Sorry, Cloud. Marlene seems a little shy. I think trying to leave is how we continue. Yeah, Barret comes in. I like Cloud's jump back there. Papa, welcome home. You alright, Barret? Great. Nothing better than an explosion. Get in here, fools. We're starting the meeting. Good device, arcade thing into your hideout. Everyone does so much hopping in this game, I forgot about that. Alright, we could go down. Let's talk to Tifa first, though. If I can. There we go. Sit down. How about something to drink? Now, what would Cloud say? Cloud would say, give me something hard. Just a minute. I'll make one for you. I'm relieved you made it back safely. What's with you all of a sudden? It wasn't even a tough job. I guess not. You were in Soldier. Make sure you get your pay from Barret. Don't worry, once I get that money, I'm out of here. Yeah, Cloud, what a charmer. What a charmer. Cloud, are you feeling alright? Yeah, why? No reason. You just look a little tired, I guess. And she knows us from way back. So maybe our just abject jerkiness is a little surprising to her. Alright, let's see what Barret's got to say. Yo, Cloud, there's something I want to ask you. Was there anyone from Soldier fighting us today? No, I'm positive. You sound pretty sure. If there was anyone from Soldier, you wouldn't be standing here now. Don't go thinking you so bad just because you was in Soldier. Has to be held back. Oof. Yeah, you're strong. Probably all them guys in Soldier are. But don't forget that your skinny ass is working for Avalanche now. Don't get no ideas about hanging on to Shinra. Staying with Shinra? You asked me a question and I answered it. That's all. I'm going upstairs. I want to talk about my money. Shucks, money. Wait, Cloud. Tifa, let him go. Looks like he still misses the Shinra. Shut up. I don't care about either Shinra or Soldier. But don't get me wrong. I don't care about Avalanche or the planet for that matter. Cloud, full-on nihilist here, but also clearly did not have a happy break with Shinra and Soldier. Listen, Cloud, I'm asking you, please join us. Sorry, Tifa. The planet is dying. Slowly but surely, it's dying. Someone has to do something. I think always the hardest thing to do is the slowly but surely fix, right? There's so much of like, oh, there's like the alien invasion. Obviously, everyone has to get to do something about it. But something that says like, do something to stop something that doesn't have immediate consequences that you can tell yourself someone else will do or something else will deal with is just a much harder thing to do something about. And I think it is interesting to have a game that is, at least initially here, focused on this non-immediate threat and has our characters taking quite drastic action against it. It makes it a less kind of straightforward fighting of evil than is normally an initial part of this kind of story. Not to say it's not still fairly straightforward, but it is less so, and I think that's an interesting choice. So let Barret and his buddies do something about it. It's got nothing to do with me. Ah, Cloud, you're such a jerk. So, you're really leaving. You're just gonna walk right out, ignoring your childhood friend? Does Cloud even have the energy to go, how can you say that? I'm gonna be a little apologetic here. You forgot the promise, too. Promise? So you did forget. Remember, Cloud, it was 7 years ago. We were all very young, so, we're like 18, 19, whatever. And, Cloud's already being the seasoned, I fought for so many years, right? But, this is a very young cast, like most video games are. So they are going to look like baby children in the flashback. Look, the well. Do you remember? Yeah, back then. Though 7 years is still a long time. I thought you would never come, and I was getting a little cold. Love Little Cloud's huge feet. Sorry I'm late. You said you wanted to talk to me about something. Come this spring, I'm leaving this town for Midgar. All boys are leaving our town. Everyone goes to Midgar, it's where the work is. But I'm different from all of them. I'm not just going to find a job. Look at this little ponytail. I want to join Soldier. I'm going to be the best there is, just like Sephiroth. Sephiroth, the great Sephiroth. Cloud getting all tall, all high up. Isn't it hard to join Soldier? Probably won't be able to come back to this town for a while. Huh? Will you be in the newspapers if you do well? I'll try. Hey, why don't we make a promise? If you get really famous and I'm ever in a bind, you come save me, alright? What? Whenever I'm in trouble, my hero will come and rescue me. I want to at least experience that once. What? Cloud's already so sharp. Come on, promise me. Alright, I promise. Little stupid Cloud. Grows up into big jerk Cloud. What a character arc, The symbolic shooting star. You remember now, don't you? Our promise? I'm not a hero, and I'm not famous. I can't keep the promise. He's not a hero, true. He's not famous, true. Factual statements right here from Cloud. But you got your childhood dream, didn't you? You joined Soldier. So come on, you've got to keep your promise. Wait a sec, big-time Soldier. A promise is a promise, here. Barret does a good job of, and so does Tifa, but they both do a good job of calling Cloud out on his shit. Received Barret's stash, 1,500 gil. This is my pay? Don't make me laugh. What? Then you got the next mission lined up? I'll do it for 3,000. What? It's okay, it's okay. We're really hurting for help, right? That money's for Marlene's schooling. 2,000. Thanks, Cloud. Always say thanks before they've agreed. Lock them in without their actual agreeing. And we wake up the next day. I think I'll stop there for today. So I am not actually rebranding as a Let's Play FF7 channel. This was, of course, an April Fool's joke to troll Dalamar. But I do love FF7, and just about everything I said about it, I do believe, and I would enjoy continuing playing this if people were interested. I should probably find a save point before actually stopping. So we'll go a little further. But I hope you enjoyed this. I really do love this game. I think Cloud has had hints of being a more interesting person than just the I'm going to do cool stuff and be a jerk. But good morning, Cloud. Did you sleep well? Horn Dog or rude? Cloud's clearly much more rude than Horn Dog, right? Psst, psst. Keep it down, they'll hear you. Barret's always edgy before an operation. I'm going this time. We have a third member. Our target's the Sector 5 reactor. Head for the station first. I'll fill you in on the train. Yo, Cloud. For the next mission, I got something I want to ask you. I don't really know how to use materia. I'll give you that materia you found. Just teach me how to use it. You wouldn't understand is very rude, but I don't want to see the tutorial, so we're gonna go. You wouldn't understand. So this is what makes them guys in Soldiers so great, huh? Okay, I'll ask Jesse again later, but you're in charge of the materia. Cloud, I got a message from the weapon shop man upstairs. Something he wants to give you, don't forget. So now we'll go to the weapon shop where I tried to go to earlier. Marlene, you watch the store while we're gone. I'm not sure like a 7-year-old should be running a liquor store, but you know, again, this operation doesn't have very much going for it, and we're really trying, and we're really limited. Alright, good luck, says Marlene. Let's look at materia. So each weapon has slots, and in those slots I can insert different forms of magic and other things. You'll notice there's a connection between the two slots. If we move to another character, here there's a single slot. Slots can be connected one time. We can have pairs of two. If they are connected, you can have some combined effects, but in general, we don't have access to those yet. So I think we're going to keep Lightning on Cloud. We'll also give Cloud Restore. If we look at stats, we can see Cloud's magic is 24, Barret's is 18, Tifa's is 16. Part of that is because when we equip materia, you can see it lists the stats of the equip effect, if it will strengthen our magic and lower other stuff. And he's currently has 2 +1s to magic equipped, so he's +2 to magic, but he'd still be higher than both the other two, so he will get more output from these effects. Barret has our second highest magic, so we're going to give him 1 spell just so he can do something with this. You'll also notice the spell has up to 4 stars. As you gain AP, it currently is 34. It needs 2,000 to reach the 2nd level, upon which we'll learn Ice 2. 3rd level, we'll learn Ice 3. And 4th level, it will be mastered, which will give us a whole new ice materia. And there's various things you can do by having extras of stuff. But right now we're going to go to the weapon shop, and then we're going to find a save. And yeah, I do love FF7. If you'd enjoy me continuing this, I would be very happy to. If not, I am happy to stick with pure triple triad stuff. but I really like trying to share and talk about the things I enjoy and value, and FF7 is a game I have just enormous amounts of affection for. It's not even the first FF I played, so it's not entirely that kind of, this is the first entrance to the world. The one I started on was FF8. This is the beginner's hall. You say you're a beginner, but your eyes say you're not. We're going to talk a lot about Cloud's eyes. Don't mess with me. I used to be in Soldier. I'll tell you how much I know, and for free, too. Oh, look at you, Cloud, being a jerk. So the way this game is doing a tutorial is to have Cloud explain it, because Cloud is the know-it-all jerk here. We don't really need to learn any of this. And if we come over here, we can maybe learn about the save point. This is the fabled save point. At a save point, you can use a tent, which is a full heal to both HP and MP, and or select save. There's more too. Look for something called secrets. Even if you're wiped out, if you save, you can restart from that save point. That way, you don't have to worry when you've been wiped out. It's jumping ahead a little bit, but when you leave Midgar, I like when the game just, it's just fully admitting it's a game here, but I don't think that actually loses immersion, at least not for me. Once you get the world map, you can save anywhere you like, remember that. Meaning when you're on the world map, when you're in a town or a dungeon or something, you cannot save wherever. That should be all you need to know about the save point. I'll probably see you again somewhere on the road. Take care. I'm a treasure chest. Beginners, make sure and keep an eye out for me. Good tutorials. Save point. And that seems like a good place to stop. Yeah, so this is the start to FF7. Because I love ranking things, let's rank our party members. I think in last place right now, we have to go Cloud. Just big old jerk, right? Not much going for him. Had one line that was vaguely interesting, but essentially just a jerk. In second place, so bronze medal for Cloud. Silver, I'm going to go with Tifa. We haven't seen a lot from her yet. We saw there was a childhood promise thing, but not too much for her. A little bit of calling out of Cloud on his nonsense, but not that much of that either. And I think in first place we got Barret, the driver behind what we're doing. Had a nice awareness that Cloud had said something that felt a little out of character, and understanding of the ways people are stuck, in a really nice line about how our lives are quite similar, or can be, and in this world certainly are, quite similar to that train track, where it can feel like you're going places and doing things, but you're limited to where those train tracks lead. And those train tracks are never in this world leaving out of the slums. It's never taking you to the upper plate. And if it did, you'd still be leaving everyone else in the slums behind you. And so I think Barret is our clear number one character so far. Incidentally, when we have some power to choose the party, I'm going to choose a party that I think is, if I continue this, I will choose a party that I think is the most interesting to play. I think this game is a really cool materia system, but until the very late game, you don't have that many tools to do all that creative stuff with it. There's a few neat things you can do, but not that much. But I'm going to try to pick a party where I can do more of the creative things that are available. And Tifa is easily the character you can do the most interesting stuff with. If you don't know what I'm talking about, tell me to continue this and we'll get there, because I think it's fun. And you're kind of locked into using Cloud. And that third slot is up in the air, and I'm not sure which way I'd want to go. And I kind of don't want to spoil things we haven't seen, but I think Barret would be a perfectly good choice for that third slot. And yeah, I think we'll call it here. Shout out to Dalamar.